I just had you guys graph this on Desmos. Now I need you guys to go to your paper, and I need you guys to try to factor this. Just try to factor it. See if you can factor it. If you guys tried to factor this, you can't. You can't factor this.
You can't?
No, any other conventional way that you know how to factor, you can't do it doing this. One, there's too many terms. There's 5 terms. Do you know of any special way to factor a 5-term polynomial? No. Now, I'm not saying it's impossible. It probably is possible, but you haven't been taught another way to how to do it. Now, problems like this that you can't factor, there is a way to find factors of it. This particular problem, they give you possible factors. They give you this guy right here and this guy right here. Look at your graph. When you guys look at your graph right now that you guys have. What are the x-intercepts for that graph?
1.
Okay, so you guys got 2, -1. What was the other one? So you got -1, -1.5, -3, and you have 2. Can you guys write those down? Those are our 4 x-intercepts. Now we look at the factors that they say we can divide them by. What would be the zeros that you guys get out of those? You get a -3 out of that one and a +2. So we have our zeros, -3, +2, and -1.5. What was the other one? -1? Okay. So we know that those are all the zeros because we cheated. We looked at the graph. Okay, but this says, show that this and this are factors. If you guys divide this guy by this one, would you expect that there would be a remainder? Why would you expect that there would be a remainder? If this is a factor of this, would there be a remainder? And the answer to that question is no. There would not be a remainder because it is a factor. It does divide it. Whenever you have like, okay, give me a factor of 15. 3. If I divide this by 3, do I get a remainder? No, there's no remainder. Why? Because it is a factor. But what if I divided this by 2? Would I have a remainder? Why? Because 2 is not a factor of 15. Okay, so let's divide. Now I'm going to do synthetic division. I'm going to put 2 right here because that's the 0 for that factor. And I'm going to write 2, 7, -4, -27, -18. Those are all my coefficients right here on my polynomial. Don't forget the negative signs. Thank you. It's supposed to be -18. All right, so at the end, what should I get in my remainder? I should get a 0. If this is a factor, if x minus 2 is a factor, I should get a 0. So I first bring down the 2. So I bring down the 2, and then I multiply the 2 times the 2, and I get 4. And then I add these, and so I get 4 plus 7, that's 11. What's 11 times 2? 22. So I put 22 right here. I go -4 plus 22, that gives me 18. 18 times 2? 36. 36 plus -27, that would be 9. 9 times 2, 18. Add those, I get 0. It works. It works. So what do I have now? I have a 9, and then I have a 18x, and then I have an 11x and squared, and then a 2x to the third. So this times x minus 2 equals what we started with, 2x to the fourth plus 7x to the third minus 4x squared. I'm writing sloppy because I'm trying to go fast. Minus 27x minus 18. So we are on our way to factoring. All we got to do is we got to divide out more factors from this to continue on factoring. Now, is this one, can we factor this 4-term polynomial using grouping? Let's try it. Because if we can, then we don't have to divide anymore. Let's see. What can I take out of the first 2? X squared. So I take out x squared, I get 2x plus 11. What can I take out of the last 2? Looks like I can only take a 9 out. Then I get 2x plus 1. Are these the same? No, so we can't factor using grouping. Booger. So because we can't factor using grouping, we have to take another factor out of this. Do we know another factor of that? Yeah, we do. It's right here. X plus 3. And so I should be able to do synthetic division with negative 3 and 2, 11, 18, and 9. And what should I get for my remainder at the end?
0.
I should get a 0. Okay. What's another number I can do synthetic division with that would give me a 0? Can you guys talk to your neighbors and tell them that answer to my question? Okay, if you said instead of negative 3, I can do negative 1.5 or negative 1, you are correct. If you chose one of those and plugged them in, then you would get a remainder of 0. So let's do this again. Can you guys do it first before I do it? Go. If we do synthetic division right, you drop the 2 first because the first one's free. And then we have 2 times negative 3, which is negative 6. Negative 6 plus 11 is 5. 5 times negative 3, negative 15. And negative 15 plus 18 is 3. 3 times negative 3 is negative 9. We get a 0. Hey, it worked. Yay. So we have 3, and then 5x, and then 2x squared. And so we have 2 other factors that multiply to get our original function, which is up top there. We have x minus 2, and we just took out an x plus 3. Okay, so if we actually multiplied all this out, we'll get right back to this. Do you guys see what's going on here? Now we're trying to write this in factored form. Is it possible to write this or to factor that guy right there? Let's try it. All right, there he is down there. Let's factor this trinomial. Okay, now there's lots of different ways that you guys can factor this. My favorite way is to multiply the first term to the last term. And so I get 6 on top. What number do I put on bottom, class? 5. Very good. So what number times what number gives me 6 and then adds to give me 5? 3 and 2. That sounds fabulous. Now we're going to do grouping. We have 2x to the second power plus 3x plus 2x plus 3. So these 2 terms right here were the 5x. See, if I add those back together, the 3x and the 2x, I get 5x. That's what they were. But now they're not. I split them apart so I could do some grouping action. Now there's another way to do this. Instead of grouping, you guys can do a box like this, and you can fill in these boxes to go 2x squared, 3x right there, 2x, and then 3 right there. And if you do it like that, you have to just take out a common factor from each row and each column. So what's the common factor right here? 2x. What's the common factor right here? 3. What's the common factor right here? X. Is there a common factor right there?
1.
Yeah, just 1. See, if I come up here and I do grouping, I would take out an x from the first one, and from the second one, I'd take out a 1. If I take an x out of the first one, I get 2x plus 3, and then if I take out a 1 from the other one, I get 2x plus 3, and I get x plus 1 and 2x plus 3, which is what you would get if you used the box as well. So I just showed you guys 2 different ways to factor that. Okay, I don't want...
You said 2x plus 3?
Yeah, 2x plus 3, right there. There's a 2. Okay, and then I write my other factors, so I just replace that guy. Now I put my x minus 2 and the x plus 3. Boom, shakalaka daka. We just factored this foo right here. How do we do it? We first divided out the factors that they gave us, and then we continued on with the regular factoring techniques that we know.